Welcome, one and all, King's Vids. As you know, I said I was going to put out my nominee for Dumbfuck of the Year, and I am endorsing Tommy Hall. If you're curious by this, I just want to use for an example some of his postings. Let's just look at this. I know this is relatively old by a couple of weeks, but I just want to give my personal perspective on it. Let me just, all right, there we go. I wasn't going to post this, but after witnessing what I've witnessed in the past couple of weeks, I feel compelled. As most of you know, I've been nominated and highly touted around here for the Dumbfuck of the Year award. That is true. Of course, it's all hilarious, all fun and games to you guys, but you have to remember that the people who are trying to humiliate in public are actually real people with real emotions and real issues in life. Real emotions are real issues. Noticed during the nomination video for Dumbfuck of the Year that the panel carefully screened out anyone who they deemed crazy or mentally unstable. But what about the guy who just lost his dad suddenly? Pile on that guy? What about the guy who can't seem to hold his life together anymore? Is it fun and games to pile on him? Now, I just think this is funny. I'm just gonna stop broadcasting for a second, just momentarily. I think it's funny he mentioned that, right? He mentioned the people who are having certain issues in life, people who aren't as stable or who aren't as fortunate to have their lives in the proper place they should be. This view doesn't extend to people he tends to disagree with, like people like Jade, for example. You know, because she's a lesbian, like she's viewed as disgusting or unlikable. Or like me, for example, like he stated that I was a welfare rat and that I had STDs. Now I'm not particularly hurt by this. I'm just showing the hypocrisy. Basically, he's not above like personal attacks and like for the sake of mockery. And I think this is interesting. Just to continue, let's just put it back up there. Okay. Is it fun and games to pile on him? What about the guy whose life is unraveling? Is it fun to call him a dumb fuck every time you make a post about him? How about the guy who occasionally gets on social media just so he can distract himself from the horrors of what happened in life, only to find that people are all around are incessantly saying the most vulgar and heinous things about and to him? Is it really fun to pile on that guy who you and everyone sees as weak and stupid? Does that make you feel powerful? That's funny. Then you go up and you see someone like this. This is a challenge to anyone in this community who would like to debate me one-on-one about the subject of cancer and chemotherapy. And he has all these videos and postings of anti-cancer, like propaganda and all this nonsense. Now, I just think this is funny because for the most part, I mean, Tommy is not a very science literate individual. Like he tends to like grab like the snippets of articles from science papers and journals, and he misinterprets them and tries to like tout them off as stuff that supports his view. I mean, he's not very familiar with the stuff. He's not aware of that cancer is like a serious issue that happens when the cells like grow and multiply uncontrollably, and when they become malignant, it could be like serious for the patient to have. Now it could be, you know, maintained with proper cancer treatment, like with the real medical science. But Tommy is effectively harming people by putting out anti-cancer stuff that could potentially harm individuals even further. But he's hurt that people are making fun of him online, and he's boldly trying to argue on behalf of this like anti-science crusade. I don't get it. I think when you're willing to tell people who are sick and ill that, hey, these methods that are science and doctors, they're actually not they're not valid. My personal bullshit is, and you essentially cause more suffering by them uh, taking your advice. I think that if you do that, in lieu of tar and feathering your ass, like calling you a dumb fuck is pretty well justified. I think when you're willing to promote junk science in the public sphere and other people can see that and point out the errors, they're totally justified in calling you a dumb fuck, especially when you don't refine your position or make it closer to what's established. Fact. So that being said, I think that Tommy he is worthy of being called a closeted retard, and I would nominate him for dumb fuck of the year because the funny thing is he says people won't challenge him. I've actually gotten in the room and tried to talk with this guy. He almost instantly disappears when I try to talk to him or anything. He's come to my hangouts. He doesn't say anything. He outright leaves. Like the guy, he's a clown. He doesn't really care about the truth. He just cares in peddling his snake oil bullshit. This is an individual who, despite the capacity and potential to learn in various situations and discussions, he chooses to do the opposite route. He will basically just repeat the same nonsense he heard over and over that's already been debunked and just disregard any new information that could potentially enlighten them. So that being said, I think he's perfect material for dumb fuck of the year. He fits all the categories to a T when it comes to that. And see, here's the thing. Like, I understand that, me personally, I can be a dick. I am very well aware of that. It's not a matter of like cognitive dissonance or anything. I understand that I can be a bit of a dick when it comes to like how I treat people sometimes in discussions. The point of the matter is I hold that on my sleeves. I don't play victim all after the fact as if I can't take I can give it, but I can't take it, so to speak, right? Tommy, he says bullshit. And when he gets called out on it, he doesn't refine his position. He complains about people calling him names, but he'll call others names back. And he tries to hide behind his religious convictions as if that's like the ultimate sword and shield. If you do that, then you're worthy of being called a dumb fuck. And I have no qualms about you being called such. I can refine my position. I can engage in conversations where name calling isn't even an issue. But when you really just don't care about the information that's being put out there and you just want to peddle your own propaganda, you're worthy of that. So that being said, Tommy Hall for dumb fuck of the year. That's my nomination. This has been Wolf King. Peace out. If you like this video, you know what to do. Stop out of there to know, and peace out. See ya.